Download the Pod TV app to catch your favorite shows like Smoke A Lot Radio, The Connected Experience, On the Line, The Gangsta Chronicles, and Doggy Diamonds No Filter, uncut and raw, unscripted. Remember, it's the Pod TV app, you heard?
Up Radio with MC8. Steel and Big James has taken over the radio station.
Well, all right, y'all. All across the USC, Compton, Watts, Bay to LA. Pomona, California, from valley to valley, we represent that killer Cali. So if you keeping it real on your side of your town, you tune in to Gangsta Chronicles.
Gangsta Chronicles, we gon' tell you how it goes.
If I lie, my nose will grow like Pinocchio. We gon' tell you the truth and nothing but the truth.
Gangsta Chronicles, this is not your average show.
You're now tuned into the real MC8, Big James, and Big Steel.
This is strictly from the streets.
Hello.
We represent the James.
I always look at Houston, man. I always look at the South period, right? As like our sister city, kind of like. Because the Houston sound at one time was really close to the LA sound. We was both steeped in the funk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We was both steeped in the funk, man. And
I picked up, shit, with Houston sound, man, you got to figure it was kind of like us, because I always kind of figured like them niggas is like us, man. You figure they sound is more like West Coast, or not even with that sound, but they kind of struggles kind of sort of go on the same timelines as ours. That's why I always felt I connected more to Texas rappers and shit down south, because everybody else was on different shit, but we could relate to it. Even New York niggas was different than we were. You get me? But Texas niggas was like Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi. Them was like niggas that I could relate to, because my family was from Mississippi. So anytime I was at the family reunions, them niggas would be on shit. We was low riders and hood shit, neighborhoods and banging, the poverty type of struggle of that type of shit. So that's why I think our music kind of related on the same timeline.
And then geographically, Texas is down south, right? But Texas leans more towards southwest.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Right? And even though they're neighbors and it's a close city, major city to Louisiana, it's still different. You know what I mean? It's still different. And Houston was on some gangster shit. You know what I'm saying? It was on some gangster shit. It was Southern and things like that, but we did share the blood out that same vein. You dig what I'm saying? So, because when Texas, we was getting music coming from the West Coast first. You know what I mean? And when I was in New Orleans, we was getting music coming out of New York first. You dig what I'm saying? But shout out to both places, man. Both places are hard in their own right, man. For real. Shout out to that West Coast, man. That's our cousins, baby.
Yeah, they are, man. And because like when I first saw, because like I said, I played ball with a bunch of cats from Texas. Yeah. And when I tell you they was t-shirt and khakis just like we was, all my boys from Houston, tan khakis and a white t-shirt.
Yeah, skate shoes or some shit. Yeah,
like I said, really, if you look at it, like I said, New York, has the shit that we started off with as far as the banging, the cripping, and blood and type of shit like that. But Texas was on us first. You get me? I could pull up in Texas and niggas was blooding, niggas was cripping, and that was way before New York started. So that's why I say we were kind of cousins with it, because that's what I recognized when I first started touring down south. I'd be like, man, these niggas is in khaki suits and Chuck Taylors and shit. And even though they got the Impalas with the big motherfucking rims and that type of shit, they were still on neighborhood shit like we were. You get me? New York wasn't on that shit like we was at first. But Texas, you could go down to Texas and Louisiana, and even, like I said, Mississippi. Niggas was wearing khaki suits and bandanas and claiming blood. That's why I think our music kind of related too in the aspect.
Yeah, for real. You know what the thing is though, Big Mike? It all comes from the soul because the South is all of our home. Yeah. Everybody from eight, you know, me and eight talk about it all the time. We was all getting on them cars, taking the trips to either Mississippi, Memphis, Tennessee, New Orleans, because you had family down there. My whole family is from Mischief Happy. I don't even know how to say it, Mississippi.
Yeah. All my people from Gulfport, Mississippi. So that's where we used to take all our family on summer vacations. Mom stick us on a Greyhound motherfucking bus, and we on our way to Gulfport, Mississippi. We spending the whole summers down there. So that's why I said my music related to down south.
Exactly. And down south, they fuck with you heavy.
They fuck with me heavy down south. Definitely.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
down south fuck with you heavy.
Because you know Big Mike.
But you know how it is, man. A lot of people's, man, especially out of that California, man, a lot of people trace their ancestry back to that Louisiana, to that Texas. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I seen that a lot.
Them the Big James roots. Our co-host that you didn't get to meet today, Big Mike, Big James, the Texas dude.
Okay.
You know, that's where his roots is from. You know, his family, you know, his roots and everything, Texas, man. You know, one thing about it, Big Mike, I went down there and I loved it because you go down there and you see a whole bunch of big black niggas that look just like you. And you're like, oh, okay, that's where I get it from. You know what I mean?
Already.
A whole bunch of big black niggas, man. So you doing music, man, at this time, and you mentioned that you was with Tony Draper at first, who in his own right became a real nice executive. You know, Tony Draper did his thing.
Hey, and I tell you, you know, because we was basically, you know, kids, right? We working at the Olive Garden and shit. And I tell you, even then, his aspirations wasn't to be a rapper, right? He wanted to run a company. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Even as kids, I'm like, I want to be a rapper. You think all teenagers niggas want to be rappers? That nigga he wasn't thinking about being no rapper. He was thinking CEO from the jump. And it's just awesome that what we both aspired for and set out together on, right? At a certain point, it both happened for us. You feel me? Right.
Did you ever sit back now and trip on that?
Huh?
Do y'all ever sit back now and trip on that?
Hey, when we get together, it comes up. We talk about it. You know what I mean? We definitely talk about it. It's an amazing thing. You know, that we actually sat down and would talk about this shit and embarked on this shit together. You know what I mean? I go to the studio, that nigga never try to get on the mic. You feel me? We just paying for the studio time, man. Let's get it. You feel me? We get off in there and get the shit done. But I say, man, you know, God is amazing because both our dreams wind up coming through. And people don't really know that. That's why I like to make mention of that. You dig what I'm saying? I like to make mention of that, you know. But shout out to Tony Draper, man, and what he was able to accomplish over there with Suave.
I shit, as a young artist, knew about Tony Draper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Some dudes had that vision that I don't need to be that. You get me?
Yeah.
Know the position I want to play. I don't need to be the superstar, and niggas get a little jealous because you start buffing on the mic and start feeling like he's shining more than I am. He knew from the jump. I want to be behind the scenes who collect that motherfucker. Man. You feel me?
Ain't that some aspiration for a teenager, man?
That's aspiration to go, especially with it being in the midst of all the hip hop that was going on and all the rappers, and knowing it was that time for us to get on. He said, nigga, fuck, I don't need that shit. You know what position I want to play. You be the rapper, nigga, I'm gonna be the CEO, Tony Draper, Suave House, whatever. That was the shit, man.
That's real legit. Let me ask you this, Big Mike. Was it ever a time that you almost might have wound up on Suave House?
No, because I was already well off into my relationship with Rap Life Records at the time, right?
Okay.
We had to do the Convicts record. So I think the Convicts record had came out. I think maybe the Ghetto Boys before we start really hearing about, you know what I mean, Ball and MJG, right? Before it started getting around and things like that, you know, so like I say, you know, I was already on my journey at that point. You dig what I'm saying? And he was into his journey. But we did come together, you know, I was able to record on, you know, a song with Ball and G. So, you know, we still remain, you know what I'm saying, cool, you know, to a certain extent, right? But we didn't spend a lot of time around each other because, like I say, he was on his journey, I was on my journey. But, you know, it would have been dope if we was able to come together and do something just on the history factor. You know what I mean? But everything happens like it's supposed to happen. You know what I mean? And we both wind up etching our names in the book. So, you know, it worked out.
Finally get a chance to let the real ones